Number 76. Suppose that x and y vary inversely, and when x equals 7, y equals 11. Write a function that models the inverse variation. So what we're saying is we got to write a function that models it. Inverse relationship is y equals k over x. So the first thing we got to do is find k. So if we multiply each side of this equation by x, we get k equals yx. Well, it tells us when x equals 7, y equals 11. So k is going to be 11 times 7. So k is 77. Since it says write the function, we're going to replace our k value right there, and then we're done. So it is going to be y equals 77 over x. Answer is B. Next problem. Simplify the rational expression. State any restrictions on the variable. Okay, well, since the denominator is already simplified, we can go ahead and find out the restriction is p does not equal -4. Remember, we just got to set them equal to 0 if you don't see that. Denominators can never equal 0. So the numerator, let's look at it. We can x factor. We need a number that has a product of -32 and a sum of -4. So that'd be -8 and 4. So we can rewrite that as p minus 8 times p plus 4. And all that is still over p plus 4. The p plus 4s are going to cancel, so the final answer is p minus 8. And we do have restrictions of p cannot equal -4. Answer is B. 78. Multiply or divide, state any restrictions. Well, since I have an a and a b on the denominator with nothing next to them, we know a cannot equal 0 and b cannot equal 0. Again, denominators cannot equal 0. So let's zoom in. Let's see what we can cancel now. Well, I got a 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom, so they cancel. I got a to the 4th on the bottom, so 5 minus 4 is 1, so I get a on top. I got b squared on top and b to the 4th on the bottom, so 4 minus 2 is 2. So what do I have left? That is it. So my answer is 4a over 7b squared, where a does not equal 0 and b does not equal 0. So the answer is B. 79. Z squared over z plus 1 times z squared plus 3z plus 2 over z squared plus 3z. Okay, well, the first one is already simplified, so the first fraction is z squared over z plus 1. Easy enough. The second one, we need a number that has a product of 2 and a sum of 3. Product of 2, sum of 3. So we could rewrite that as z plus 2 times z plus 1. The numerator of the second one, the denominator of the second one, z squared plus 3z, we could factor out a z. Multiply that by z plus 3. Okay, now everything's been factored. Now we can find our restrictions. Our restrictions apply for every term in the denominator. So z cannot equal whatever would make this 0. -1, 0, and -3. Okay, we found our restrictions. So right now I see it in D and B. Now we slash and burn. I can cancel the z plus 1s. I can cancel a z and the z squared. So I'm going to get z times z plus 2 over z plus 3. I don't see that anywhere directly, so I'm going to distribute the z. So I'm going to get z squared plus 2z over z plus 3 with those restrictions. So my answer is D. 80. C plus 1 over c minus 5 divided by c minus 2 over c squared minus 7c plus 10. So let's look at this part quickly. I need two numbers that have a product of 10 and a sum of -5 to factor this. Well, that becomes c minus 5 times c minus 2. And again, all that's over c minus 2. Okay, let's look at this and then let's figure out what we're going to do. Our restrictions are going to be anything that's on the denominator. And since this is a big fraction on the right, c minus 2 cannot equal 0 as well. So here's what we got. We got c plus 1 over c minus 5 divided by c minus 2 over c minus 5 times c minus 2. So let's find our restrictions. Well, that one tells us c cannot equal 5. This one tells us the same thing. That tells us, and that tells us c cannot equal 2 either. So I've got c plus 1 over c minus 5 divided by c minus 2 over c minus 5 times c minus 2. Okay, I can cancel the c minus 2's. So it's really c plus 1 over c minus 5 divided by 1 over c minus 5. Well, to handle fractions and dividing fractions, we can just flip the denominator. So c plus 1 over c minus 5 times c minus 5 over 1. C minus 5's cancel, so my answer is c plus 1 with restrictions of c cannot equal 2 or 5. Okay, you notice the answers didn't eliminate the c minus 2's, so the correct answer for us is B. 81. 3 over m plus 5 plus 8 over m squared minus 25. Well, to add or subtract fractions, denominators have to be the same. And this denominator right here, the m squared minus 25, is a difference of squares. So we could rewrite this as 3 over m plus 5 plus 8 over m plus 5 times n minus 5. So what could I do to the first term to get it to look just like the second term? I can multiply the top and bottom by m minus 5. Okay, so when I do that, I get 3 times m minus 5 plus 8 over m plus 5 times m minus 5. Okay, we're going to distribute this now. So if I distribute 3, it looks like this. 3m minus 15 plus 8 over the denominator. I'm just putting the d in there to hold the place. So let's simplify it. So it's going to be 3m negative 15 plus 8 is negative 7 over the denominator, which is m plus 5 times m minus 5. The answer is C. (82) w squared plus 2w minus 24 over w squared plus w minus 30 plus 8 over w minus 5. Okay, let's see if we can speed this up. So the first term, the first numerator, we need two numbers with a product of negative 24 and a sum of 2. That'd be 6 and negative 4. So we can rewrite that as w plus 6 times w minus 4. The denominator, two numbers that have a product of negative 30 and a sum of 1. So that'd be w plus 6 times w minus 5 plus 8 over w minus 5. We've got to get these to be like terms on the denominator, so look what I can cancel on the left side. I can cancel the w plus 6's. So now it's going to be w minus 4 plus 8 all over w minus 5, which is going to simplify to w plus 4 over w minus 5. Answer is D. Okay, 83. X plus 4x over y all over 7 over 3x. So here's what we're going to do. Since the denominator is an easy fraction, we're just going to multiply everything by its reciprocal. Okay, when we do that, we multiply the reciprocal to the denominator and numerator. The denominator cancels out. Now we just got to distribute 3x over 7 to each term. So the first term is going to be 3x squared over 7. And the second term is going to be 12x squared over 7y. How can I get the first term's denominator to look like the second term's denominator? 7y and 7. I can multiply the top and bottom of the first term by y. So now this becomes the same denominator, so I can write it as 3x squared y plus 12x squared all over 7y. Okay, what's the GCF on top? What can I factor out? I can factor out a 3x squared. When I do that, I'm left with y plus 4. All that's still over 7y. And that is our answer. C. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Take it by baby steps, step by step. Okay, number 84. N minus 6 over n squared plus 11n plus 24 over n plus 1 over n plus 3. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rewrite this n minus 6 over, okay, n squared plus 11n plus 24. Two numbers give me a product of 24 and a sum of 11. All positive. So that could be 8 and 3. So we're going to put n plus 8 times n plus 3. All that over n plus 1 over n plus 3. Okay, since again I have a fairly simple fraction on the bottom, we're just going to multiply top and bottom by its reciprocal. 3 plus or n over n plus 1. So we multiplied that on the bottom, we got to multiply it on the top. We're going to get a lot of stuff to cancel. When we do, what we're left with is n minus 6 on top over n plus 8 times n plus 1. Answer will be D. 85. Solve the equation. Okay, we're just going to cross multiply. 2 times x plus 3 equals 4 times x plus 4. So negative 2x minus 6 equals 4x plus 16. Okay, we're going to add 2x to each side. So I'm going to get negative 6 equals 6x plus 16 minus 16 to each side. So I'm going to get negative 22 equals 6x. Divide everything by 6. I'm going to get x equals negative 22 over 6, which simplifies, and once we factor out of 2, is negative 11 over 3. Answer's D. 86. G plus 4 over G minus 2 equals G minus 5 over G minus 8. Let's cross multiply. So I'm going to get G plus 4 times G minus 8 equals G minus 2 times G minus 5. Okay, we're going to distribute the terms. So I'm going to get G squared minus 4G minus 32 equals G squared minus 7G plus 10. So we notice the G squared is canceled. I'm going to add 7G to each side. So I'm going to get 3G minus 32 equals 10. Add 32 to each side. 3G equals 42. Divide everything by 3. G equals 14. Answer's D. '87. 6 over x squared minus 9 minus 1 over x minus 3 equals 1. Okay, well, x squared minus 9 is a difference of squares, so we can rewrite this as 6 over x minus 3 times x plus 3 minus 1 over x minus 3 equals 1. Well, what can I do to that first term to get the denominators to be the same? I can multiply the top and bottom by x plus 3. Okay, so I'm going to get 6 minus, in parentheses, x plus 3 all over x minus 3, x plus 3. Okay, so when I distribute this, I'm going to get 6 minus x minus 3 over x minus 3 times x plus 3. Well, that's going to simplify to negative x plus 3 over x minus 3, x plus 3. What could I factor out of the negative x plus 3 to make it look like x minus 3? Could I factor out a negative 1 and get negative 1 times x minus 3 over x minus 3 times x plus 3? It's all still equal to what? 1. What cancels? The x minus 3's. So I got negative 1 over x plus 3 equal to 1. So we can cross multiply. So we can say x plus 3 equals negative 1 minus 3 to each side. X equals negative 4. The answer is A. 88. 5 over 6w plus 1 over w equals negative 4. What can I add to the second term to get the denominators the same? 6 to the bottom, 6 to the top. Since they're the same, 5 plus 6 is 11. So this is going to be 11 over 6w equals negative 4. Multiply each side by 6w. 11 equals negative 24w. Divide everything by negative 24. We get w equals negative 11 over 24. C. Easy enough. Number 89. It says independent variables or independent probability, and you need what's the probability of probability of Q and R, probability of R. So the probability of Q and R. So when it's an and probability, you just multiply them. So I'm just doing long math. So when I multiply 0.44 times 0.41, I get 0.1804. So the probability of both events happening is 18%. 90, same concept. Probability of Q and R. Multiply them. 4/5 times 4/11. 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 11 is 55. So 16 55ths. Answer is A. Okay, 91, 92. Here we go. Suppose S and T are mutually exclusive events. Find the probability of S or T. S or T, you're just going to add them. So 20 plus 22 is 42. So the first one's easy, 42%. The second one, you add them again. So 1/2 plus 1/9. Well, I have to get the denominators the same. So I could multiply the least common factor. So I'm going to multiply the left side by 9 over 9. The right side by 2 over 2, which is going to give me 11 over 18. Answer is B. Okay, that concludes this chapter of the review.